Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful Monday. It's a beautiful day. I am currently about 8:30. I've already done one set this morning. I am currently still only doing 5 reps. I need to build up more shoulder strength before I try to jump up to 10 reps. I tried jumping up to 10 reps too soon. I overworked myself. Something I want to talk about, though, before we get carried away here, is I can't let somebody tell me I'm pushing myself too hard. I know how hard I can push myself. When somebody tells me I'm pushing too hard, I just shrug. I'm like, okay. I took their advice and I took a week off. But then I went against their advice and I started doing my evening workouts as well, pushing myself harder. So yes, even though I'm only doing 5 reps, I'm doing that 3 sets in the morning, 3 sets in the evening. And it is tough. It is hard. But I feel like I'm improving because I'm doing more. And I know people will say that I'm doing too much or that I'm pushing too hard or whatever. If I don't push myself, nobody else will. And something I've learned in my lifetime, and remember, I'm 59 years old. Something that I have learned in my lifetime is that if I don't push myself, I can't depend on somebody else to push me, because if they try to push me, it just pisses me off, because I know I'm pushing myself as hard as I can. And when I have somebody else going, come on, push a little harder, push a little, I just want to knock them out. And then when I get somebody that says, dude, you're pushing yourself too hard, it makes me think that they don't push themselves at all. Let me check this mic and make sure it's on. It is. Okay. So it's kind of a catch-22 for me. I know how hard I can push myself, and I'm not going to push myself beyond my abilities. I mean, I might a little bit just to see, am I capable of doing that? But I'm not going to push myself to the point of hurting myself, in other words. And as you can see, the presses are getting easier. Now, I already know that I could do 10 reps of everything else, but I'm only doing 5 because I want to keep things leveled out. So I already know I can do 10 of all the other exercises. But I feel like I like to keep things evened out. So until I get to where I can do 10 presses, I will just maintain by doing 5 of everything else. Then when I get to where I'm doing 10 presses, I'll go ahead and bump everything else up to 10 because I already know I can do them. And then, just like when I started with the 40s, if you'll remember, I started with 5 reps. And after a period of time, I bumped up to 10. And then I did that for a period of time and I jumped up to 15. I believe, for me, that's the best route. I don't think increasing 1 rep a week is feasible for me. I'm sure that works for some people. For me, when it gets simple enough to do the 5 reps, I want to feel that burn when I jump to 10. I want to feel that muscle soreness. I want to know that I'm burning those muscles and that I'm working those muscles. I want to know what I'm doing. And for me, that's just the best option. You know, sometimes I get a hold of my weights in the wrong position and it makes a curl much more difficult. If I hold the weights too close to the inside, I can't twist it because all the weight's down here. I have to keep my hand more to the bottom of the weight so that I can twist it when I come up. So when you see me doing curls and I can twist coming up, and then sometimes I go like this and I can't twist it so the weight is still like right here, that's because my hand has slid closer to the top weight and I can't get that turn. It's a little warm in here today. But guys, I know how hard I can push myself. Right now, my scale has been pissing me off over the last week because it'll go down a pound, then come up a pound. Go down a pound and come up a pound. Go down a pound, come up a pound. So I'm basically staying the exact same weight within a pound. I know I'm still in a calorie deficit. I know I'm still getting the amount of protein I need. I know I'm still in a calorie deficit. I know I'm still burning fat, but that scale will fuck with your mind. Because right now, doing the 60-pounders, I'm putting on more muscle, which means I'm gaining muscle weight. Because I'm still in a calorie deficit, I'm still burning fat, but it's equaling out. I put on muscle, I burn some fat. I put on muscle, I burn some fat. So it's basically just equaling out. It's like, here, let me have this much weight in fat. Oh, by the way, here's some muscle. All right, I'm going to take this much fat, here's some muscle. So it's just evening out. And you can't let that scale fuck with your mind. You can't do it. If you know you're eating correctly and you're doing everything you're supposed to do to stay in a calorie deficit, then don't let the scale fuck with your mind. That's all there is to it. Just don't let it happen, because it will. Okay. All right. That's workout number 2 for today. I have one more set to go. And as you can see, in my last video, I told you I wasn't getting enough sodium. I have changed up my, well, I haven't really changed in a while. The last time I talked about my diet, I told you that I was eating 2 sausage and egg sandwiches, 1 serving of chips, and a little cut of cheese. And that was about 1,250 calories. And then my doctor told me to add a chicken breast or some kind of protein. And because I needed more protein. Well, now I'm not eating the sausage and egg sandwiches anymore. I buy some ground meat from Walmart, little 1-pound packets of ground meat. It's pork and beef combined at about 20% fat. And I drop that in my pan and spread it out real good. And I add some seasonings to it. Chili powder, paprika, onion powder, garlic, salt, all the salt that I need for the day, believe it or not. And it still doesn't taste salty. And then pepper, of course. And then when that's done cooking, I put it in a bowl and I scramble 4 eggs. And I put that in a bowl and I mix it all together. And I have 2 pieces of toast with real butter on them. And I eat that meat and egg combination every day. I eat the same thing. It's 1,440 calories in total. That's it. So I know I'm still in a calorie deficit. I'm not eating anything else. I'm getting 100 grams of protein from that. I'm getting 26 grams of carbs from the bread. And it's 1,440 calories exactly every single day. I know I'm in a calorie deficit. It's the protein that's feeding my muscles. I was thinking about going strictly carnivore, but then I got into a bunch of research. And I have to tell you, carnivore's great to a point. And what nobody on carnivore will tell you is that even when we were hunter-gatherers, we still ate carbs. We didn't just eat meat. We hunted, hence meat, but we also gathered tubers, berries, leaves, things that we could eat when we didn't have meat. So people talking about this, the carnivore diet, this is the way we're meant to eat. No, it's not. So I was going to go carnivore until I got into a bunch of research. And I realized something that only biologists will tell you. Your red blood cells transport oxygen to all your muscles, your organs, everywhere in your body, your skin, everything, your brain. They transport oxygen. So what happens and your red blood cells run on carbs, glycogen, glucose. That's what gives your red blood cells energy to transport oxygen. Sure, if you're not getting any carbs and you're strictly carnivore and your body is running on ketones, ketones do not fuel red blood cells. Oxygen can fuel the red blood cell, but here's the problem. The oxygen that the red blood cell is supposed to be transporting to, say, your liver, well, now it's using half of that oxygen. So when it gets to your liver's like, dude, what the fuck? And the red blood cell's like, God damn, dude, I gotta eat too. I'm not getting fed. I can only give you half of what I brought because I had to use the rest. That's a problem. So I was going to go carnivore until I dug into the actual research of things and realized that we do need some carbs. We don't need nearly as many carbs as what we're eating because since we started processing food, our carb intake has gone up 800%. We don't need that many carbs. I ate 2 slices of bread, toasted. Toasting your bread is very important because it converts the starch in the bread, which if you just eat a piece of bread, that starch in your body converts directly to sugar. If you toast your bread, you're killing that starch. You're turning that starch into what's called resistant starch. Your body can't digest that or process it. It just goes through you. You still get the carbs from it. There's obviously going to be some sugars in the bread and some salts and things like that in the bread that your body's going to absorb. But you're killing that starch. Starch turns into sugar instantly. You can lower your carb intake and still get enough carbs to feed your red blood cells. I'm at 26 carbs. That's it. 2 slices of bread, 2 slices of toast with butter on it, 26 carbs, 140 calories. The rest of my food is carnivore, but I need those carbs. And I needed my sodium. My sodium levels were way low, which lowered my blood pressure to the crashing point. So I needed my sodium. As you can see, my workout's getting easier. I have a feeling that within the next week or so, I'll be bumping up to 10. We'll just see what happens. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you learned something. If you did, give me a big thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, click the like button. You know what? Don't even worry about doing any of that shit, because now YouTube's made it impossible to get monetized. They already made it very, very difficult to get monetized a couple of ways. Number one, you have to have 1,000 subscribers, which was fine when you used to have to ask people to subscribe and click the notification bell so they'd know you put up a video. But then YouTube decided, you know what, if somebody watches one video, we're going to start inundating them with videos. That way they just get all the videos they want and they don't have to subscribe. It's a YouTube trick. So that slowed us down on getting subscribers. Then you had to have 4,000 watch hours, which was virtually impossible to get in a 365-day period unless you had 300 or 400 videos up and YouTube was pushing those out there. Well, now YouTube says, you have to have 8,000 watch hours in a 365-day period. So the 4,000 was virtually impossible to begin with. Now they've just made it fucking impossible. So now I'm not worried about my language. I'm not worried about being prim and proper. I'm not worried about anything, because I'm never going to fucking get monetized anyway, so I don't care. I'm doing this to keep a record for myself. And if you get something out of the videos, that's awesome. But I'm mainly doing this so that I have a record of from where I started to where I'm going to end up. A record that can't be edited. All right, I'll see you next week.